It's showtime, folks. Welcome in. Chase and Big Joe here on 1025, 1063 The Game on this Thursday. He is Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane Nick Frazier is on the ones and twos. And JoJo, I'm very excited today. We have some special guests.
Who's that,
in
buddy?
the house? Group of students from what I think is the best school ever, Franklin Road Academy.
As you should.
Yes, spent many years there. They are here checking out what we do, and I don't know if we're going to convince them to get out of this business before they even get into it, or what we're going to do. But excited to have them here today.
Should be about a 15-minute trip for them to show them everything that we do, and they get out of here.
Football coach Justin Geisinger is also with them, so good to have Coach here. But welcome. Some of them are talking to Woody and Jim right now, so I won't be held responsible for whatever they learn over there, but.
You're just a tad bit nervous.
I'm not nervous. I'm just
a tad bit.
I'm running late. I'm running late. Let's just call it what it is. Like I was running a little behind this morning. So
I never got one. I never got field trips in high school. We never. Oh, we'd go on field trips. They would just tell us to shut up and not ask questions. That's true. That's what McGavin. We'd go
to the Cracker Factory.
We'd go to the Space Center and be like, "Don't ask questions. Just keep your mouth shut." I'm like, "What fun is this?"
So this is. I believe this is interim. So it's a week that FRA does, and honestly that's how I kind of got started in this business, because I used interim week. I went and did a job shadow with the great Chris Clark at News Channel 5 with Hope Hines.
Hello everybody.
With at Channel 4 over with Rudy and some of the news people over there. Was really Terry Bulger. I got to spend a day with him, which was just fantastic.
Terry Bulger.
So I mean, it was really cool to be able to do that. And so they get this, and now they actually have a broadcasting class over there, which is really cool. So they get to hang out with us. So we might let a couple come in studio and check
why
it
not
out.
Just put them in here? Just sit them in here.
We just have them gathered all around.
Put them on a microphone. I mean, it's easy.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, you remember those days of being and you went to school just down the street from FRA.
I did. I went to good old Father Ryan.
Yeah. So there you go. But welcome to Franklin Road Academy. We're going to show them around and everything today. So glad to have them here. We'll be at the Omni tomorrow.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. And Jeff Fisher at 10 o'clock today.
Yep, he's going to come hang out with us. So
Nick McDevitt, MTSU basketball coach at 9:30. Big game
tonight
in Murray. So look forward to that.
The Predators are busy. I mean, it is the trade deadline. And so the news coming out last night that Luke Shin and Tommy Novak have been traded to Pittsburgh. It seems like a lot of Predators go to Pittsburgh, but
it's almost like they, in return, we laugh about getting a bag of pucks back. I'd feel like, what'd they get back?
Michael Bunting, who's a player. I don't know much about, I mean, I know the name, but I don't know much about
He'd be a better
Bunting,
baseball player.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Good.
And they got like a fourth rounder in the 26th draft or something.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's kind of where Barry Trotz is at this point of trying to get younger. And I mean, you moved off Luke Shin, obviously an older player, over 1,000 games in the league, and Tommy Novak, who just hasn't quite fit under this system. I think he flourished more, under John Hines. Bunting has 58 games played this year, 14 goals, 15 assists for 29 points. So he's not, I mean, he's not terrible, but not, he's scored 20 goals twice in his career, and that was early on in his career when he was with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we'll see kind of where he fits and everything. I believe he's hurt right now, if that is correct.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so it's just this
what
is
time is it? 3 o'clock tomorrow, the deadline?
2 o'clock Central. Yeah,
2 o'clock Central.
Yep.
So all right, you expect more to happen?
I do. I mean, I think they're really going to have to be blown away for somebody like Ryan O'Reilly. And I really don't think they want to trade Ryan O'Reilly. I don't want them to trade Ryan O'Reilly. I mean, I think he's a good piece to keep. McCarron is a possibility, and maybe Sissons.
No, not Sissons.
Yeah, I don't think they want to trade him either. But
okay.
So could be. I mean,
sit around and watch.
I believe Barry's going to go on with Jared this afternoon from the arena, so he'll be able to talk about some things, what's going on, and then or actually it could be tomorrow. I think it is going to be tomorrow after the deadline. So
He's going on tomorrow.
Yeah, so it'll
Okay.
be tomorrow. So my bad. It'll be.
Please don't
after
mess
that.
up again like that.
I know.
I got
Okay,
all
maybe I am
excited.
nervous.
You are a bit nervous, man.
Yeah. So
They say you can never go home again, right? And so they're coming to you today, buddy. You got this.
yeah, no, it's funny. I went over there about a month ago and spoke to a class and was like walking around campus, and it was like, yeah, I'm home. You know, it's changed, but it's also the same.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
yeah,
Should
it's kind of like when you go over to McGavick.
no. You're like, you're back again. Good Lord.
Thought we told you to leave.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? It'll be next year. I've been gone 40 years.
So your 40th high school reunion would be next year?
Yeah. Yeah. We don't do nobody does high school reunions in here. You should go to your 10 and 20.
Yeah.
But Facebook has ruined high school reunions.
Yeah.
You see everybody wants to.
Yeah, you stay in touch and everything.
Now unfortunately, I'll see a ton of my friends Sunday at our friend that passed away, his service on Sunday. And that's unfortunate. That's when you see your friends at an event like that. So I tell people all the time, go to the cookout. When a friend comes to town, go have lunch with them, whatever. Keep those memories alive, man, because it's good. It's good for the soul. Like you walk into that far, it's good for your soul. Just go over there and see where you've been and where you came from and how things are going. It's just nice.
Yeah, for faux show. Because you like
faux show.
How about college hoops? You know, the regular season winding down. Tennessee, I mean, it's an upset, I guess. They lose to Ole Miss last night on the road, 78-76. Tough game, but the Rebels get the best.
Yeah,
of the
I watched it, and it was just a back and forth game. But it's just, I think Tennessee's looking to the tournament. That's what I gathered from last night watching them play. Also, it's very frustrating to watch college basketball when all they do is set themselves up for 25-footers. Tennessee was firing shots, and there were 4 guys outside the 3-point line.
Yeah.
And 1 guy underneath. And it just, basketball has evolved and changed so much now that you truly are living and dying by the 3-point shot last night. But credit Ole Miss, they got it done. And that's the for them and Chris Beard and that program, they're doing well. And, you know, but Tennessee's in the tournament. So it's a lot. It was a tough game last night.
Are you taking your foot off the gas a little bit?
I think so.
Because, I mean, I think they're not only are they in the tournament, I think they're going to be a 1 seed.
Probably.
You know, so, I mean.
You're in. I mean, that's the thing. You're in. So it was fun to watch. I tell you, Ziegler, he's fun. I mean, he's the motor. I mean, once that guy's gone, that team is, to me, is not even the same. Yeah. And it's fun watching. I still think college basketball is driven by the point guard. It'll always be driven to me by the point guard. You got a good point guard, you can make things happen.
Yeah, and they held him to 8 points last night too, which is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But all I know is starting next Wednesday, Nashville, Tennessee, all eyes are going to be on Nashville because of the SEC tournament, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. 4 or 5 days straight of
5 days.
You know, I mean, and Wednesday used to be, it was kind of like whatever that night, but I mean, you got the top 8 that get a bye.
Yep.
And then the bottom 8 will all be competing.
That's correct.
And so it looks like Vanderbilt's probably locked into a 9 seed, so they'll play or maybe an 8 seed. So they would play Thursday for sure.
Right.
But so that would that'll be good. But I'm excited. I'm excited about I don't think I've been this excited about a basketball tournament as I am with
right.
this one.
Yeah. And I love the fact that it's here in Nashville. I just, this tournament's been around and it's a lot of fun. I remember the 84 tournament. Of course, I'm an old man. Over at Memorial Gym, Charles Barkley played in that one. That was a fun tournament. 91 at the SEC tournament at Memorial when Tennessee was awful and they ran all the way to the final game because Allen Houston couldn't be stopped. Marshall Henderson, what was that, 10 years ago for Ole Miss? The Land Shark.
10. Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
think
guessing.
That
was a fun tournament. I mean, so there's always some great games and it's fun and exciting. If you get tickets, go see that. I think it's great. I you know what? I like it better, the SEC tournament being here than the first round of the NCAA.
Yeah,
I just do.
Because you see all the teams.
Yep.
I mean, every team has to play a game.
Yep.
So I think that's a really good point, and I kind of had that conversation with Sean Henry one time of, do you miss, getting the first round? And he goes, think about it. Like you get to watch all the SEC teams and a lot of those teams are going to the tournament. So It's like, yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, and you got stuff setting up to be really compelling. Florida beats Alabama last night. So I mean, are we going to see some rematches in this?
Yeah.
You know, what team in your mind has the most pressure going into the SEC tournament? Is it Auburn just to, as the 1 seed to run through and win
This
it
is
all?
crazy. I don't think any of them do.
Yeah.
I think because they know they're in the tournament.
At least, I mean, 12 or 13 of them know they're in.
Right. I think the ones on the outer,
Or-
like in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
who like is the first 4 out last night, what I was hearing. So for those teams, this is an opportunity to get it done and show you belong in the tournament. But I just think it's going to be some good basketball. We saw the Auburn team when they played Vanderbilt. I mean, that's like an NBA team. I mean, they're legit fast, big, quick,
Yep.
get after you, can shoot the ball well. So that was fun. Remember, Auburn came here last year, beat Florida in the championship game. They got knocked out in the first round the next week. So you don't want to give all of your emotion next week, I guess. I mean, I don't know. And then you've got to go on and play the tournament after that. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing is what happens in 2 weeks, not next week.
Yeah.
For the most of the teams.
Yeah, right. 100%. So that is obviously going to be exciting. We're going to be downtown. So
downtown.
Next week, the Chase and Big Joe show is on the world tour.
We
So
are.
We're here Monday, and then we're out the rest of the week. So
That'll
be a lot of fun.
We got sound check going on early. So come on down and hang out with us. We got some of the biggest acts in country music opening for us. No, I'm kidding. It'd be nice if they were, though.
T. Graham Brown?
T. Graham Brown.
All right, let's go.
I did a thing with T. Graham Brown one time on TV, and he was a little bit on the soft side, and he called me Ralph the whole time. What about it, Ralph?
So you've been Ralph, you've been Joel Dooley.
Well, no, he meant like Ralph Emery. So
Oh.
he was like, hey, Ralph, where's your band? I love T. Graham Brown. Did his kids go to FRA with you? It seems like every country music singer's
no.
kids went to.
No, well, okay. T. Graham Brown's son worked at Piscotty's.
Did he really?
Yeah.
So you got to meet T. Graham?
I never met T. Graham. No.
Oh, man.
No, I just knew his son.
Oh, man.
There it is.
But at FRA, you went to Alan Jackson's
Alan
daughters?
Jackson, Mac McAnally's kids went there for a little
Dean
bit.
Dillon?
Yeah, Dean Dillon. Derek Mason's kids went there for a little bit before he got traded. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
On and on and
A
on.
few Liz and Davey Allison's kids went there.
Really? Do these esteemed FRA kids know that you went to the prom with Alan Jackson's daughter?
Probably not.
Do they know who Alan Jackson is? They should.
They should, but I don't know if they do or not.
Where'd you guys eat that night?
The prom.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Was it on campus?
No.
At a hotel?
It was at Hillwood Country Club.
Did AJ pay for the limo?
He did.
I love this story, man.
Yeah.
Did he say, hey, boy, have my girl back home by 8?
No, but I mean, he had the limo, so I didn't really have any control on it.
Did you
Why is
understand?
it leaving?
Did you understand how massive popular he was at that time?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But I mean, to me, he wasn't that. He was Mr. Jackson. Like he was just he was Maddie's dad.
That's cool. I know you hate me bringing it. I love it. I love this. I love it. He's like, sorry, Miss Jackson, I am for real.
No, that wasn't what happened. We're up and running here on a Thursday live from our wonderful, palatial, amazing Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We'll get into the Titans and much more coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game on a TV themed Thursday. Hanging out. We mentioned we have some students from Franklin Road Academy in which is where I went. Fantastic school. And so, you know, I think it's only appropriate we put one of them on the air, right, Joe?
You have to.
I mean, you got to. So Chase Coleman is with us.
Yo.
He's a football player, he's a junior at FRA.
Yes, sir.
So are you having fun so far?
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's been fun to watch. Your guy back here, the executive producer, showed us a lot of stuff, which has been fun to learn.
Yeah.
And
We call him Dr. Crane.
Dr. Crane. Yeah, it was cool to learn behind the show, which is cool. Which is a cool part. Now being on it.
You seem like you like being in front of the mic.
Yes, sir. It's cool.
Seems very comfortable for
yes,
you.
Sir. Yes, sir.
You grew up in it, I guess.
I grew up in it. My dad's been doing it for a while.
Okay.
He did it in Georgia. Now he's doing it with Dave Ramsey in Tennessee. So
Nice.
It's just like part of the family.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool.
Yes, sir.
What class would you be in right now if you're at school?
If I was at school
Right now at 9.
what time is it?
9:20.
So we got rotating schedule, so it rotates each day. So we don't have like a
Really?
designated class for a time period.
Like A and B schedule.
Yeah, it's like
I
a
think
block
it was kind of
schedule,
like
yeah.
that when I was there. It was a while ago.
Is that a private school thing? Because ours was like just show up,
Yeah,
and
it's
shut
really
your
private
mouth.
school.
Joe.
Yeah.
A lot of schools are doing this now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just, but I mean, I had, by the way, it's hit me that it's almost been 20 years. So I feel, thanks for letting me feel old. But I mean, when I was there, it was like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday was one thing, and Tuesday, Thursday was kind of a different
Okay.
thing. And then there were some classes I had every day.
Nice. So right
Yeah.
now, like if on this Thursday, you would be in what, history? Math?
It depends what day we drop. So if it was an 8A right now, I'd be in second Spanish. I'd be in,
my man.
nice.
All
I'd be
right.
in Spanish. Yeah.
Muy bien.
Chase
Yeah.
knows Spanish. He knows Donde la Biblioteca. That's all he learned at FRA. Where's the
Fun fact:
library?
I did take Spanish at FRA. And
Did
some
you?
of it stuck, and some of it didn't.
Yeah.
All right. So what, your father, what is he taught you any radio stuff throughout the years, or you just observing?
He's taught me a little bit. I've been observing a lot. He does a lot of stuff with like help people find the right jobs and stuff. So that's just like cool. But I'm more of wanting to go into like coaching and stuff instead of radio.
Good for you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Pursue that dream and all that.
Yes, sir.
You play football, right?
Yes, sir. I do.
What position?
Wide receiver and cornerback.
How was your year last year? Pretty good.
It was okay. I had a lot of injuries. I had a foot injury and a thumb injury the past season.
Ouch.
So,
man.
yes,
How we
sir.
doing now?
I'm healing up. I'm doing PT every day.
Okay.
Just trying to
Good.
get back to it. Yes, sir.
Good. Who you guys made the playoffs? Who beat y'all?
BGA. That's my old school.
No, we're done with that, man.
Yes, sir.
Nope.
Yes, sir.
25's your year. We're not having BGA.
Oh
do
yeah,
this
no more
anymore.
BGA. We beat them earlier in the season, the regular season. They came back and beat us in the postseason. Semifinals.
High school football, man, nothing better than that. So you're looking at colleges already, or
Yes, sir. I'm looking at colleges right now. Yes, sir.
no? You said FAU.
FAU, University of Florida, and FGCU right now. Somewhere
Nice.
down in Florida.
You want to go where it's warm.
Oh yeah, we're
I like
and the
that.
beach around the
beach,
beach.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to keep trying to play, or
Probably not. I'll
No.
probably pursue like the sports business side of it, like
Nice.
coaching and like managing and stuff.
I love that.
Yes,
Very
sir.
cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
but I love it more that you want to go south, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta go
that's
south.
smart.
We don't cold weather, man.
It's
If you're going
not
to,
it.
hey, look, man. I hope your dad's not listening. If you're going to college, we got to have some fun.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta have fun.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
have to have some fun. All right. So tell us who's with you right now. Tell
All
us
right,
about
I
this
got my
group.
boy Caster. He from California. I got
Okay.
Nate. He be doing a broadcast or like a play-by-play for our football games.
Okay. And he's got the Vandy Boys
He got
shirt
the
on.
Vandy
So we
Boys.
like
He's got Lex. You got Adam Crocker. His brother actually playing right now at Baylor.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Cool.
We got my boy Smith. Good
Nice.
baseball and our long snapper for football.
Oh, long snapper,
Yeah,
my
long
man.
snapper,
We
yeah.
just talked long snappers yesterday. How you can get a college scholarship by being a long snapper. I mean, it's and go make the NFL and get paid for snapping the ball. What's your time snapping back to the punter? 0.75? Okay.
He's good.
All right. Just no,
Yeah.
just when I ask the question, just say yeah. What about on the field goal? 0.3? Yeah. Okay, you'll get there, man. You get there.
So
I like it.
so what was your time?
You had to get for the punter under 0.7 seconds, and to the snapper, to the holder on the field goal, 0.3.
Okay, well, so speaking of punters, these guys know Brett Kern.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Coach-
okay.
He's Coach Kern.
He's our coach.
Nice.
Yeah, so
sir.
so Brett comes on with us once a week and coaches at FR.
What about Coach Pat Cunningham? You like him?
He's not our coach.
Is he
Coach,
not?
Coach Cunningham? No, sir.
He says he coaches with Coach Geisinger all the time.
Coach Cunningham.
Pat Cunningham? No, is that no? Pat lying to me?
Yeah, JP.
Yeah,
too.
he might have.
No, he came over from JP2 to FRA.
Well, clearly they don't know him. Coach
Yeah, right.
Geisinger's here.
Yeah, I
by
just
the way.
talked to him.
Yeah.
And I just made a crack about Pat Cunningham, and Coach laughed. So evidently he's got maybe a different name. Maybe O-line. He coaches, he helps the O-line out. That's it.
Coach Harris.
Maybe that's it. I'm going to find Pat and tell him he's wrong. We got the kids in here now. Okay, there we go.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on.
So what do you think? So what have you guys done this week?
On Monday we went to Vandy. We talked with their assistant AD about NIL and stuff, which
Cool.
was cool to learn
Yeah.
about. And then we just went back basketball facility and we toured their new facility,
Yeah,
which was crazy.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
yeah, I've heard it's very nice.
Then on Tuesday we watched like sports movies. We watched Air, the Michael Jordan movie,
Nice.
which was fun to watch, and then Moneyball.
Moneyball.
And we just like
Good
got
one.
the perspective of the sports business side.
Oh,
and
that's
talked
cool.
About it. So that was cool. And then later that night we went to Arkansas Vandy, which
Very
was
cool.
a fun game.
Nine
The-
o'clock start.
Yeah, it was a late start. It was a late start. But
Yes.
the dunks and everything kept you up. It was crazy.
That's
Number
good.
4, yeah. And then yesterday we went to talk to Barton Simmons and then the chief of staff at
Yeah,
Vandy.
Vandy. We
And so
love
that was-
Barton.
That was fun to talk about with them and just learn about the
So
football facility.
basically, Mr. Salado and Coach Geisinger are like, we're just gonna go to Vandy.
Vandy. Yeah, it was just a Vandy. It was
Yeah.
a Vandy week,
Yeah.
basically.
Love it.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yes, sir. It
but-
was just a whole Vandy week.
Speaking of sports movies, you need to watch that one to your left. Victory. When you get a chance, it's the greatest sports movie of all time. So if you
Alright.
remember it, think
I
about it
remember.
and watch it.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
It's a good one. Chase, good luck.
yes, sir.
You did a very good job representing your group here. So
Yes.
we look forward to you guys sticking around and kind of seeing how we do things.
All right,
Chase,
yes,
are
sir.
you bringing them
Appreciate
lunch?
No, I don't think we've discussed that.
Oh, I thought lunch was on the table.
No.
For you. Sorry,
you
guys.
just want free food.
Chase will get you after at 11 o'clock. Whatever you guys need.
Yes,
Appreciate
we
you,
will.
brother.
Yes,
Good
sir.
luck to you,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Coming up next, we got a big game down in the borough tonight as the Blue Raiders will take on Liberty. Coach Nick McDevitt will join us coming up next here on Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. Oh, is this Lil Waylon on a TV themed Thursday? Little Dukes of Hazzard. Okay. A big one coming up tonight down in the borough at the Murphy Center as the Blue Raiders, our Blue Raiders of MTSU, will take on Liberty. Their head coach, Nick McDevitt, is on the line with us now. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well this morning. Thanks for having me on.
I know, like on a day like this, I mean, game day's got to be exciting no matter what, but knowing that, this is a big rival, a big a conference game with a lot on the line, you got to feel a little extra something going into this one, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. It's what you do all year, to put yourself in positions like this. You want to be playing for championships in March. When you get your team together in the summer prior, this is what you talk about is being able to put yourself in a position to win a regular season championship and then also win your tournament. And we're fortunate enough to be in this spot. Our guys have been playing well as of late. And, here we are in the last couple of days of the regular season with a chance to win a regular season championship in a really good league. Our league has done really well this year in non-conference play before league play started. And as a result, we're one of the top 10 leagues in the country right now. The Ken Palm rankings have us like the 9th best league in the country, right behind the A10 and right in front of the American. And so when you talk about being in a spot to win a league like that, you've had to play some good ball. And Liberty has done that. Jacksonville State has done that. And obviously so have we. And we're all three in a position fighting it out over the last couple of days here.
You saw them. It was your second conference game. It was early January, and they got you at their place. Can you take a lot away from the first meeting, or do you look at your team and how much it's changed since then, and obviously how much they've changed since then, and so you kind of look at this, like it's a brand new game?
Chase is a great question, a great point. A little bit of both. The way the conference schedule played out. These guys, Liberty and FIU, were our first two games of the conference season, and they're also the last two. There are others, obviously, because of that there's only about 4 or 5 games in between the two meetings, so there's not a whole lot of change between what you're running, what they're running, who's playing, who's not, what the rotation looks like. But with this one, it is different. For one, that was a long time ago. Number two, rotations tend to change a little bit. Obviously, we've got Kamari Lands back from injury, who did not play in that game, nor did he play in the first 9 or 10 conference games. So there's some similarities that you'll take. Obviously, Coach McKay isn't going to change, the way he does things. They've always been really stingy on the defensive end of the floor. He's got really good offensive skilled players. And so they're a tough out. They're a tough team to beat. So there are some things that we'll take away from that first meeting and adjust to. But at the same time, neither is really reinventing the wheel here.
We're talking to Coach Nick McDevitt at MTSU. Big game tonight versus Liberty down at Murphy Center. All right, Coach, I went to the Western game. You guys won. And the crowd that day just fueled your team. What do you need to see from the crowd tonight?
A lot of the same. A lot of the same. It was a great crowd. Lots of folks from, Murfreesboro and the Mid-State were there. And our players feed off of it. They see it. They hear them. And to your point, games like that, we feed off of it. These games are tight. You look at scores, not just this league, but around the country this time of year when it's teams tussling for seeding in their postseason tournament or tussling for that conference championship. They're close. The games are tight. And so every detail matters on the court, and the crowd can help with those kind of things as well. They're 1 and 2 possession games, and any advantage that you can get that either hurts the opponent or helps yourself, we'll take it. So need a big crowd here tonight.
All right, Coach, you guys have won 5 of your last 6. You seem to be peaking at the right time. Is that a bunch of nonsense when people talking about that? Because I sense you guys are just rising at the right time. And is this where you want your team to be as you head into March?
Absolutely. I think there is such a thing as having momentum. The biggest thing I think this time of year, you want to be playing well. You know, when you're searching for answers and trying to scheme up new things to do offensively, changing up what you're doing defensively, you're probably not in a great spot. You know, you're searching. Right now, if you're kind of on the side of honing in on some things, being a little bit more detail oriented, cleaning up some things around the edges, to me, that's where you want to be. You're not always going to get the result, but you do want to be playing well as you approach the end of the season, and particularly going into tournament play. To your point, we're 5-1 over our last 6, won our last 4 road games. We don't have any more of those this year. They're either at home or neutral at this point. But I do feel like we're playing well, and we're playing through mistakes and playing through missed shots. And that's, to me, the other part that you want to see. We got 2 great wins out at UTEP and New Mexico State, and we didn't shoot it particularly well in either game. But our guys kept playing and defending and rebounding through missed shots and didn't let not making shots affect their defensive energy. And that's going to happen during some stretches when you get in tournament play. You may go a 5-minute period, a 10-minute period, maybe even a half without making a ton of shots. And if you're relying on shooting your way to a championship, you're probably not going to get there. You're going to have those moments. So you got to be able to battle through that stuff. And I think our guys did that on the road. Obviously, you'd want to shoot it well in your own gym, which we have here tonight. But at the same time, I think we're playing through adverse situations right now.
When you have a game that, like tonight, that's on national TV throughout the country, do you make a big deal of that, or you just tell the guys it's just go out and play 40 minutes and get the job done? Because I think it's a great thing you guys are on national TV tonight.
It's terrific. It showcases Murfreesboro. It showcases MTSU. It's not just about our program, but everything we've got going here at Middle Tennessee. But at the same time, once that game starts, you got to get focused on what you're doing in that moment, whether it's on the offensive end, the defensive end, and the chips will fall where they will. You just want to not get distracted. You know, this time of year, we're not only playing for a championship today, but on Saturday as well. Saturday's the last home game. It's senior day. So there's all kinds of things that can get your mind and your attention elsewhere, whether it's family members, making sure mom and dad and grandma got their travel situation right and their tickets, do they have their hotel room, when are we going to dinner? And all of a sudden you forget about the most important thing in those moments, and that's the ball game.
Right.
And so I think it's important that you enjoy that stuff, know that you're on national TV, know that, you've got 2 big home games, but at the same time, we've got to get our players focused on the task at hand, and that's defending Liberty and figuring out a way to score against that stingy defense they have.
Coach Nick McDevitt is on the line with us from MTSU. They take on Liberty tonight at the Murphy Center down in Murfreesboro. We've talked about on our show, Coach, that college basketball has been so compelling this year, whether it's watching you guys or obviously, the SEC, that tournament coming to Nashville and, potentially having 13 teams in the tournament this year. And so to me, college basketball is back. But I look at your league. You just mentioned the strength of your league of Conference USA, and I want more. I know you want more. Obviously, I want to see you guys get in, but Jacksonville State, Liberty, I mean, there are a lot of deserving schools. I mean, are we at that point where college basketball is getting so competitive that maybe that conversation that people don't necessarily want to have about expanding the field really needs to happen?
Well, I think it's a good point. I think for me, expansion is one thing, and I'm not against it. Actually, I would be for slight expansion. It hasn't happened in decades, and yet we've added, almost 100 teams since the last time that it did. On the flip side, I'm not in favor of doubling the size of the tournament per se, for instance, and now you just water down the product. Right now, the NCAA tournament is an unbelievable time of year product. Everybody tunes into it. So you don't want to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thought process. But if there is a way to make it a little better, particularly, the first round games in Dayton, if there was a way to boost that a little bit, do you have 2 different sites Do you have almost an East Coast and a West Coast first round, so to say, to where, there's one out in, Denver or something out in the other portion of the United States, and there's one in Dayton, to where you're adding 8 more teams, perhaps getting to 76. To your point, it's just such a good product right now. There's so many good teams out there, not just in our league, but others. And it's the best time of year. It really is. And that's why so many people tune into it. So you don't want to water it down to where it ruins what we've got. But I think if there's a way that the powers that be can make it even better, then I'd be all for it.
That's awesome. We're talking to MTSU head basketball coach Nick McDevitt. Coach, 2 things real quick. Thank you for doing this, because very rarely do we get a coach on game day. So thank you for taking time out to do this. Secondly, how do you go about that? What are you going to do at 1:00 today? I mean, you got a huge game tonight. How do you relax? Can you relax? Are you watching tape all day? What's your approach up until until you arrive at the arena this afternoon?
Yeah, I'm one that is opposed to, going to the office and then, going back home, taking a nap, relaxing, then turn around and go back. I'm more the reverse. So for us, it'll be about a 1:00, 1:15 shoot around. And then, we'll eat our pregame meal at 2:30. And then after that pregame meal, we always eat 4 hours prior to our tip. And so once that's over, the guys will start working their way back over to the arena, kind of on their own time. And then we'll tip it up and play. But, you try to relax as much as possible. You don't want to, squeeze yourself so hard all day that you're worn out before the ball goes in the air, both to me as coaches, but particularly the players. You got to try to have a pulse on them is the most important thing. If that you find themselves tense, tight, a little, too uptight early, you got to find a way to relax them. And then the opposite is true as well. If they're too laid back, you got to go the other way. But our players have had a really good demeanor about them over the last couple of weeks. And I suspect they will here tonight.
Well, Coach, best of luck tonight, and finish strong Saturday too. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch, and I hope we're having a lot more conversations with you this year, because I really like your team.
That sounds great. I'm all for it.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Have a good one.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Coach Nick McDevitt, head coach at MTSU. You can hear their game against Liberty tonight on 93.3 Totally Hits, Totally Nashville, with Chip Walters getting things started at 6:00, and then the tip at 6:30. You can also listen on the Game Nashville app and the Totally Hits app and at totallyhitsnashville.com.
There you go. When Murphy Center's packed, that's a fun place.
Oh, yeah.
The Western Kentucky game that day was packed, and the guys fed off of that energy and won the game, and hopefully it's packed again tonight. That when I was in college, and you were there, not so much when you were there, but in the 70s, 80s, and kind of 90s, that place was packed and loud.
Well,
So,
I can remember when I was there, they played Tennessee. Tennessee played at the Murphy Center, and Bruce was still at Tennessee, and Kermit, obviously. And I just remember Bruce had the orange blazer on. Kermit wore the blue blazer. I mean, it was a great basketball game. Tennessee, ended up winning, but Middle gave him a game, and that was the loudest and the most packed that I remember.
That's very cool, man.
From being there. But yeah, so it was awesome. But speaking of basketball, how about this? The Vandy women's team taking on the Lady Vols coming up in just a few minutes in the SEC tournament. Is that they will get underway, and so
where can I hear that game?
That's going to be a good one. You can hear that on 94.9 The Fan.
I love it.
Our man Jake Lyman on the call.
Good.
So Jake Wallman producing, Jake Lyman on the call. How about that?
Great,
The Jake and Jake show. It is the Chase and Big Joe show. We'll have more coming up next here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase and Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel. Usually on Thursdays, we have Greg Wyshynski on with us. He will join us tomorrow as the NHL trade deadline looms, 2:00 Central tomorrow. Yeah, I was thinking about this morning. It's rare that we have the NHL trade deadline, which is obviously a big deal to us with the Predators, and then literally on Monday, legal tampering starts for free agency in the NFL, and then we'll kind of get an idea of what or as Mike Borgonzi says, an idea of what the Titans are going to do.
I love the term legal tampering. It's like legally drunk. It's like it's a weird, redundant oxymoron phrase that you throw out there. I will never forget when Jim Schwartz signed Vanden Bosch, because it was like at midnight, but it's midnight Eastern, and like at 11:02, we get a call that Vanden Bosch is going to the Lions.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you
Hainsworth, it was like
to the Redskins?
12:05 a.m.
How do you get time to look at the contract?
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on here? Then it all came out like they've been talking for days before. So the legal tampering, that's how the genesis of that happened.
I can tell you that sitting here, and working with Floyd for a few years, I remember asking him, like, so did you ever tamper? And he just would laugh. Like,
right?
They all just are like,
just sitting there. I think we asked Schwartz one time, like, how did this all work out? He's like, I sit in Kyle's driveway. Then at 11 o'clock, I knocked on his door. And I don't know if that's a true story or not, but he says, I'm like, hey, and we signed a contract and we were done. I'm like, can you look at a contract that fat? And so, and it all started and took off.
Yeah. I mean, so that'll be Monday and we'll see. And I mean, Schefter and Rappaport and all those guys will, Rossini, they'll have the news out there of, so-and-so is going to sign a 3-year deal with the Titans or whatever. So we'll have an idea of, who's going to be coming here. I mean, I think you're going to see a guard. They're going to end up with, or a tackle or a guard for the right side. We will know that answer on Monday. If I had to guess, by Monday
forward to that. See what happens.
Like whether it's a Morgan Moses or Ronnie Stanley, somebody that's out there, likely going to be a free agent.
I'm okay if they don't sign a high price. Could be like the Cowboys didn't sign anybody last year. What are they waiting on? I'm okay if the Titans don't blow all their money on one guy.
I'm with you. I mean, and I like what I've heard in that we have some guys we've identified that we would like to sign.
Yeah.
But then it's like, if they're not there, we're not going to just go get someone to get someone, and I think that was kind of the thought last year of they had some money set aside for something else. It didn't work out. So they saw Calvin Ridley was there and it's like, oh, let's go throw a bunch of money at him. Now, towards the end of the year, that started to work out. But a lot of times, if you just go sign someone to sign someone, it doesn't work out.
Well, I mean, the DB signings were a disaster. Those two guys were awful.
Yeah, and I liked Awuzie, and I mean, I even liked the trade they made for Snead. Yep. But if those guys can get healthy, then I think we'll forget about that. But that's a big if.
Big if.
I mean, that's the thing to me, and this is again the time of year where you start talking yourself into things might not be as bad as they actually are. Mm-hmm. When we all know that's not true. But if the secondary is healthy and they add some pass rush and do that, then I'm going to feel a lot better about the defense.
Good. Good. I still
hope
that's a big if. I still hope that the Aaron Rodgers things happen. I really do.
You really want that, don't you?
I do. Well, a conversation I had with somebody last week who's not in sports, but knows somebody that knows Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. I mean, it's like he said, she said on down, but I just think I think there's a real possibility he comes to Nashville.
So I've talked myself into something. This is the talk yourself into things season, right?
Okay.
I've talked myself into that scenario where you sign Rodgers and Devontae Adams probably for the same price that you would have to pay Darnold, right?
Okay. All right.
It's basically you're looking at this year to year, maybe 2 years. You still take Cam Ward number 1 overall. You let him sit a year behind Rodgers.
Okay, I can see that.
They're not going to do that.
I don't care about Devontae Adams. To me, he's not part of this.
I know, but I think Rodgers does.
Yeah. But I just think
you need receiver help. So
2-year deal. I mean, I think Titans fans will be on board. Tell me like, oh, I'm not going to wait until he throws that first touchdown in game 1, and hopefully it's against Vrabel and they beat Vrabel.
He's not allowed to wear 8 though. He has to wear 12.
Okay.
Now I'm done with 10s and 8s.
I'm good with that. Is there a 12?
Charlie Whitehurst.
Stabler wore 12 for the Oilers franchise.
Yeah.
And I'm not separating.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
It's the same
You're just thinking
franchise.
franchise.
Uh,
Titans. Charlie Whitehurst is the only one I can remember.
Same
Justin
here.
Gage, maybe.
Justin Gage. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's about
But-
it.
but that's
We're leaving somebody out. Okay, cool.
maybe.
Maybe start
But
your
yeah,
own number.
Stabler. I mean, I remember. Yeah, Stabler.
Mason
for-
Kinsey, he wears 12.
Does
oh,
he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're quarterback though. I want a quarterback.
You're just asking.
Maybe
12
he
then.
comes
Yeah.
in at 7 and in honor of Dan Pastorini. I'll take that. That'd be kind of cool.
Who
Number
was
7.
was Daryl LaMonica 3? Who was 3?
Is that Blanda?
Maybe
LaMonica?
Blanda?
LaMonica? I don't remember. We're going way back now.
I mean, we're before my time, but
right.
my,
I don't know.
My father raised me right.
Just,
Taught me
just,
some of these
all right.
things.
Just come here, wear 7, and win games.
Maybe
People are
Clay
crazy.
knows. We're gonna bring Clay in for a second. Hi, Clay.
Boys, how are we doing this morning?
Oh, we're fantastic. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Big Joe, I'm coachable.
Hey, what did I tell you this morning? What time to call?
I said you said 9:45.
What time is it right now, Clay?
Well, I just took his call. He called at 9:45. He's been on hold
Oh,
for a minute.
damn you, Chase.
Don't yell at Clay.
Okay.
For my.
You're coachable for what?
I'm coachable for doing what you tell me there, Big Joe. Donut, when to call.
All right, I'm liking this. So we'll have to go before the board like they did in Shawshank when Red was trying to get pardoned. We'll go in front of Candace Lee and everybody over there to get you back on property, okay?
Okay?
I
Just keep me off the Marriott property because I hear that, I'm not paying attention and people have to jump back in the bushes. You know what I mean?
yeah. One step at a time, Clay.
Yeah. How
What's
you
that?
doing today, buddy? You got some drives going on?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do.
Awesome. Well, Clay, you can listen to us. You can listen to the Vandy women's team take on the Lady Vols, and it'll be a great day.
I'm glad you reminded me of that. Seriously, Chase, because I will listen to some of it. It'll be starting soon.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
I know which side of the fence of this rivalry I'm on, so I will be tuning in.
94.9, pal.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you, Clay. Have a good day.
See you, boys.
Can we, you know what
My
I actually
bad.
want to do?
I felt bad.
I kind of want to set up with Vanderbilt like a hearing board of and us. being
I'd love
part of
to.
it.
He's got to go before the parole board and get either exonerated or get put back on the punishment list.
Oh,
For
man.
those that don't know, real quick, our friend Clay, Arkansas Vanderbilt game, probably 8 or 9 years ago. Arkansas hit like a 3-point at the buzzer, and the Arkansas player was taunting the crowd. Clay comes down from the stands, gets on the court, gets in the Arkansas player's face, and shoots him the bird. Gets past security. There are pictures of it, and Clay admits he was wrong.
Yep, and he has been banned from.
Memorial Gym. He might be banned from campus.
Yeah,
I don't know how you
Right.
could do that, but Clay, we're going to help you get back in good standing at Vanderbilt. We got some Vanderbilt people here today.
we do.
That
We're
can
going to
help
work
you.
on it. Coming up next, we're going to talk some football for the next hour because the coach is in the building. Coach Jeff Fisher going to join us here on the program. We'll talk Cats with him and pick his brain on some other things as well. We'll do that coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Thursday. Excited now for the next hour to talk some football with Coach Jeff Fisher, of course, with AF1, Arena Football 1, the Nashville Cats. But we got some kids from Franklin Road Academy in here. And look, when I went to FRA, we were rivals because your kids were at CPA.
That's
so,
right.
you know, I can remember on a Friday night, you'd be getting ready for a game, but you'd come out and watch your sons play at CPA or FRA when they would be playing each other.
The memories
Yeah.
are so cool just because I had both the boys 5 years apart, Brandon and Trent, go through there. And then in the middle, I had my daughter cheering. So every Friday night, because during the season, we're basically going to be traveling on a Saturday. Rarely do we go. So every Friday night, my rear end was sitting in the seat at CPA and going to different road trips and things like that and following them through the playoffs. And, as it's been talked about for forever, there's nothing better than the Friday night lights and, and the high school football and everything that's associated with the high school football, the freshman teams and the younger teams as they mature. But it's really a great experience. And so I'm sitting here looking past you. It looks like what is a throwback Houston Oilers sweatshirt. Yeah. Nice job planning that one. What's your name? Nice to see you. Yeah, thanks for coming. So, what a great compliment you guys on bringing everybody from the alma mater back in here for a tour and everything. That's what it's all about. You guys take advantage of this. But I try to get to a Friday night somewhere in the football season over the last couple of years. I've gotten to a high school football game.
It's funny when the Titans and you did it and they did it on and down. They'd go the Friday night practice during camp. You go to high school and do that. And you go to your players and, sometimes you couldn't get guys to talk and you'd go to them and say, hey, tell me about your high school career. You couldn't get those guys to shut up. We love talking about our high school careers.
Oh, it
we
is.
love it.
And I had a group, in there, the group with Lindell and Vince and CJ and that group got out. And I think it's because they were new, versus, Frank is used to doing stuff. Wycheck and all those guys and Eddie were used to doing it. But this group really got engaged. I remember it seemed like every Friday night at home, somebody tapped me on the shoulder and it'd be Lindell White and all his buddies, sitting there behind me right there watching the high school football game. And I think to a certain extent they're kissing my butt because I knew they were going to go look for trouble Friday after the game, and barely show up and sleep on Saturday. But it was all that's what it was about. Football, that's where it starts,
Yeah,
really
exactly.
Cool.
Let's talk to some AF1. I know that this has been his passion project, maybe the best way to put it. It's been something that you've really been involved in. It started with the Cats last year, and now, a whole new league this year with new teams, plus your involvement with the Cats. How's it been going? I know
it's been
the season's
good.
here.
Yeah, it's quiet. It's been quiet here for reasons that I'll explain. But last year wasn't easy. Last year I got involved. I offered to help, and then as soon as we got started, things started collapsing around us. That was totally out of our control. But we pulled together a group of franchises, a group of owners and head coaches and players that were committed to finding a way to finish the year. And we did so with a championship game in Jersey between Albany and Billings winning the championship last year. We started off with a dozen teams. We finished with, I think it was 8 or 9 last year, but those teams have gotten much, much stronger. The league has spent the off season pulling everything together, working on sponsorships, working on, streaming deals and working on potential gaming opportunities. We pulled together a director of officiating, and we have a great relationship with the NFL officiating department right now. We're doing just a lot of cool stuff. So we've got a couple new franchises that are new, or actually 3 this year. We just lost one about 2 or 3 weeks ago. When I say lost one, it's AF1 is a new entity. It's a new start. It's a fresh start for arena football. We want to make sure that those teams that are involved in participating in the league can take care of themselves throughout the season. We don't want to incur any financial responsibilities that they cannot meet. So we've been strict, and we want this thing to continue. Before we got started, we had interviewed and spent a great deal of time with, say, maybe 4 or 5 other franchises that just didn't feel like they could get it ready for the 25 season. They'll be rolling in 26. One of them, namely, will be an international team in Monterey. So, we've got a long-term future that's been planned out very well. Right now, in the short term, the immediate, we're opening the season this year, and this weekend.
Yeah.
So, and there's been even as late as a couple of days ago, there's been some changes, but you have to adjust a little bit on the onset just to make sure that you pull everything off. So we can talk about what we're going to be doing here whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Well, we will do that coming up next. Coach Jeff Fisher is you're still coach, by the way.
That's
You'll
it. I'm
always be
coach.
coach.
You know what? Coach. You know what coaches do? I met 2 of the coaches in the hallway. Hey guys, the coaches help you guys, don't they? Help you become better players and better people and stuff like that. Coaches help people.
Yeah.
And that's what when I got out, that's what I continued to do, is just different levels, whether it was a small little college program here, or whether it was, the Alliance of American Football. I didn't coach there, but then, I got in and tried to help Fox and the USFL for a year, and I agreed to coach, but it's all about just helping people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
We will talk more about the Cats and what's coming up starting this weekend. It's hard to believe, but we will do that with Coach Jeff Fisher. Coming up next, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Thursday, talking with Jeff Fisher of AF1, Arena Football 1, and the Nashville Cats, and of course, longtime NFL coach with the Titans and the Rams. So I'm excited about this. We were talking about this during the break, Coach, that a Real American Beer, Hulk Hogan, his beer is now going to partner with AF1. So that's going to be really cool. I know you're going to be going down and talking to the Hulkster here soon.
Tomorrow. I'll be up bright and early. I'll be on my way down to Tampa, and we're gonna kind of a interview thing set up, a promotional thing, Q&A, kind of half hour kind of thing. So I'm really looking forward to meeting him, and he's excited about the partnership because he'd love to get this kind of beer and in all of our markets if possible. But in addition to that, he's going to commit to showing up for a few games. So We'll see. Nothing has been determined yet, but I guarantee you, I'm going to do my best to get him here in town to show up.
I would love that.
That'd be really cool.
As a big wrestling fan, I think that would be awesome.
Would be good. Yeah,
awesome to see. But you talk about these partnerships. That's the key, right? I mean, you got to have these partnerships to make this thing work, and that's what we've obviously seen for years with the NFL. They've figured it out, but for you guys, not only with the Cats on the local side, but the league side as well, these partnerships are going to keep you going.
Well, that's exactly it. And what happened to us, not to go back to last year, but every team that was involved in the AFL was misled, and
Sure.
So we had to find a way to finish it on our own. Led to believe that there were NFL Network games and all those things that were initially released that never came to fruition. So we spent the better part of the off season or since last year just kind of developing those relationships, and so we have new relationships with the football manufacturers and the equipment and the jersey manufacturers. And just a lot of things that, I think you take for granted, communication devices between the coaches and all those things, and, the field surfaces and the dasher boards and all those things that are required. So it's coming, and I'm really excited about it. And it may appear, somebody may say, well, let me get to the schedule. So we're going to go down. Our team is going to leave Friday at some point, and we're going to head to Wichita and then on to Dodge City, and we're going to open the season. The Cats are opening the season against the Southwest Kansas Storm. And that's and it's going to be streamed on Evergreen, and you're going to get a feel for where we're going to be. And so this is the start. So we don't expect everything to run off perfectly because we've have to adjust some things, but we are going to kick the season off, and the league has asked the Cats to be a part of that. And so and then after that, we have a week or two where we're off, and we decided to do that because we got a late start, and we're going to get the players out in the community and do all these things, and then we come back with back-to-back games at Municipal end of March and first weekend in April.
And the website, theaf1.com, it's a great website. I mean, it's I look at websites now of things like, how organized are you? That's a perfect website. So whoever's doing the website for you guys, kudos to that.
Well, appreciate it. Yeah, we've got, like I said, we've got a really good management group. Jerry Kurz, Jerry is our CEO, and Jerry's been involved in indoor. He's been a commissioner in 2 different leagues. He's been involved in indoor all his life. He's an attorney. Most everybody, the thing that's interesting about this, and just so people understand it, with the exception of me, most everybody that's in that and the coaches, but people in the front office, ownership and stuff, they have real jobs. They got something. We got, for example, we got one of the co-owners and the partners in the new franchise in Corpus. He was a first responder and a paramedic, and then he loved that career so much he decided to change, and he's a full-time police officer. But he's got a real job, but so you got people that sometimes are a little bit busy and things like that, but we get to pull them all together, and it's a hands-on effort. And last year, I mean, I taught you guys, I mean, there's some cool things, at all different levels, but the cool thing about the indoor is not only the intimacy in the game and the rules and how you can be down 20 and with 20 seconds left and come back the fans, and the fan base gets really close. I mean, anywhere I go, I'm still talking to people. The original Cat fans, now we got a second generation that are interested. But you go to Billings or you go to Albany, and these are storied franchises. Billings, those are the two teams that played in the championship game last year. Albany has maybe a half a dozen players whose dads played in the Albany for the Albany franchise. And, so you got generational things going on, and it is a niche. It's a demographic and things that are a lot different, but basically it's a direct connection to the fans and to the communities and to the little kids that come in there and see things like that, and they just go, this is really cool, and they got memories that last them forever.
I love last year you guys did the championship game in a shopping mall. I just thought that, I don't know if it's
was it Mall of America, right?
I thought it was in New Jersey.
It was in Jersey.
Jersey. But I just think that was just fantastic, man. Right?
Yeah, it was their. These games largely are played on ice rinks. That's the ideal size. We put the dashboards up and throw AstroTurf down there, and you're playing football on a hockey on a hockey rink. So that's in essence what we did, and it was CBS town. We partnered up, and they produced it, and they ran it live, and so it was really cool.
It's cool to me too. At the end of the day, whether it's the NFL, the CFL, the UFL, AF1, it doesn't matter. It's football, and these guys that are playing it, you can see that passion and that love that they just love the game.
Yeah, the difference here, and again, it took me a long time to realize this. Now, we've probably had the conversation, but I put some hours in over at the Titans facility over the years, just a couple. And so, there were plenty of nights, late afternoon, early evening nights where we weren't using the indoor, or somebody else was in there, and it was the Cats.
Oh yeah.
And they were sharing that, and the relationship that we had with Tim McGraw and then Bud Adams and all that stuff. But I didn't, at that time, I was just so busy. I never attended a game. I didn't watch a practice. I just knew that these guys were playing some kind of indoor football back over there. But there's a difference between the indoor football and then the 11-on-11 spring football that year after year after year tries to get launched. I mean, I was on a conference call, excuse me, when Bill Polian contacted all the head coaches and GMs of the teams in the Alliance of American Football and said, shut it down, shut your practices down, we're done. And so, I was part of that. I wasn't coaching or doing anything, but I was trying to assist. And so the spring thing, the 11-on-11 is hard. Yeah. It's hard because there's so much else going on, and the travel costs and all those other things. We could talk for days about it, but this is different. This is spring, but it's not that difficult, and it's a different niche. It's a completely different game. It's played inside. You don't need to worry about, outdoor weather, things like that. They're played inside, and these things largely over the years, if you do it right, they finish up right around the early July and before training camp starts. So there's the only thing going on out there, in addition to us, is a draft right now, so, you get a venue, you get an opportunity, you got some hockey, you get in there between the hockey stuff or whatever it is, or the concerts or graduations, and man, you're good to go.
What do you want people to know about the AF1? It's the AF1.com is a website that put away last year. What do you want people to know about the 2025? That you're here, we're good, we're going.
Well, that's exactly it, Joe. I mean, what we want people to know is that we found a way. We locked arms, and I say we. It's those franchises. It's the Southwest Kansas and Albany and and Billings and Washington, for example, that didn't get in the playoff scenario. But these teams that were really, really affected were hanging on life support. But these teams got together. They helped each other get through the season. And now we've had an opportunity to to launch a new effort, a new entity, and obviously we got the naming rights to AF1, which is the original naming rights. So this thing's getting started. It's not going to be perfect this year. This is kind of our inaugural season.
Yeah.
Last year wasn't, and so you're going to see a lot of different things. And as with respect to the Cats, we are getting a late start. We have ownership change, which we'll discuss sometime in the future. But we have, for example, we hired Coach Darren Arbette. Darren is, I think, somewhere between right around 20 wins short of being the all-time winningest indoor football
wow.
coach. And trust me, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's been working, putting together his roster and planning for this season for months. And you're all going to get to meet him. He's a great man. He's been in this world for a long, long time. And so we want to get the best. We committed to bringing the best people in. Greg Pogue's listening, and I'm not going to put him in the best, but Greg knows what he's doing. He's really been a tremendous asset for us. And then we've got I've got Bobby Dvorsky in here as our CEO, and he's running the show. He has a great deal of business experience, and so we were just we pulled it together, and we had all kinds of stuff going on, all kinds of distractions last year. We washed that aside, and this is a new start. Now we're not gonna, we're gonna do our best. I mean, we understand the demographic, we understand the fan base, we just want people to come out and have fun.
Yeah.
So we might open that place a couple hours early and have flag football games and doing stuff like this. But this is going to be a family-oriented, fun kind of event. That we're going to be hands-on, and we're going to reach out and touching people.
It is going to be a lot of fun for sure. We will have more with Coach Jeff Fisher in studio with us. Coming up next, Chase and Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Here on this Thursday, continuing our conversation with Coach Jeff Fisher, Arena Football 1, the Nashville Cats. But talking some football, just in general, we were just kind of chatting during the break. The Titans currently hold the number 1 overall pick, and the only time you had that was when you guys traded for it when you were with the Rams, ironically with the Titans, and selected Jared Goff. As you go through the process now, or if you're going through the process now, what are you looking at? Because you know that number 1 overall pick, they don't grow on trees, and you got to get it right. I mean, I look at the Titans; they got to get this right if they stick and pick at number 1. So, what is the process like from your perspective?
Well, that was the thing. The point you just said is if they stay put,
yeah,
the value of the pick as far as being able to turn that number 1 pick in the draft into an additional, whether it is 4, 6 high picks. You can drop down, depending on how far you drop down, you get somebody that really wants it. You can pick up their 1, another 1 next year, 2 twos, and really fill out your roster. If you're confident that you can get that on the front end of the draft and in the top 3 rounds in addition. But to me, that's the decision that they're making. So what is their number 1 need? And who's out there? And
well, they got a few, but
that's the thing. That's the issue. And so, is it a left tackle? Is it a right tackle? Is it a quarterback? Is it a running back? And who's out there? What, you have to look at the positions, and is it a good year for running backs? Is it a good year for quarterbacks? Can we get a quarterback in the second round or the third round that we think will develop very quickly into our starter? Or are we good with Will? And if we're good with Will, then okay, fine, let's go do something else. How are we gonna support him? And is it a defensive player? Do you need an impact defensive player? If there's an impact defensive player out there, hey, you're going to have to look at it because they are difference makers. People will game plan. Now we got lucky. Well, I'm not saying we got lucky, and I knew what kind of player Aaron was going to be. And when we drafted Aaron, we knew that teams were going to change what they do offensively, and they're going to know when he's on the field and when he's not on the field. And oh my gosh, Aaron Donald's a game wrecker. Yeah, he is. He's a dictator. Yeah. So would you take an Aaron Donald type of player right now at number 1 if he's going to So it's all it's all about the evaluation process, the strength of the draft, your needs, free agency. Can we fill some holes with free agency? And if I were them, I'd take a hard look at what Washington did last year.
Yeah.
They did a great job going out and getting key free agents to fill in these positions that have been there before. Guys with experience, guys with playoff experience, mature guys that are going to come in there and just take charge of the locker room, take charge, and then go. And then in addition to that, go ahead and draft. And obviously they got a quarterback that can play. And, that was one of the most impressive things that I've seen over a period of time is what they did in that turnaround. Now they had hit some Hail Marys and they did some things, and you need some of that. But
they got a good coach too.
It's possible. You got a good coach, you got experienced coordinators and things like that. And so it's possible to turn things around that quickly. So I would take a good look at what they're doing. I'm not as close to it as I've been in the past, but it's obvious. And then, they adjust, but they'll, and then, I think as Titan fans and, people associated with the organization, you got to trust that they make the right decision and be patient.
So I look at the quarterback, and, a prime example is a guy you drafted in Jared Goff was the number 1 overall pick. He had a tremendous college career. You guys get him, struggles a little bit, but you obviously see enough that he's there. He's a rookie. Rookies are going to make mistakes. And then they go to a Super Bowl, and they decide, we're going to go in a different direction. We're going to go get Stafford, and he's the throw-in. Well, then he goes to Detroit, and we see he was an MVP candidate. And now we have seen Sam Darnold, and there have been others of these quarterbacks that maybe get thrown in a little too quickly and they have to kind of catch up to it. And now all of a sudden they're having good careers. I go back to you and Floyd. When you brought Steve in, you guys were like, you're not going to see him for at least the first year. He's going to sit back and he's going to learn. And you went through it with Vince, for half a season, I guess is what it was. Just a little bit of time for these guys, I think is so tremendous. So if the Titans were to take Cam Ward out of Miami, number 1 overall, I'm of the belief, go sign a guy and let him sit. And it doesn't matter how bad you are. The kid needs to learn. That's just me. Do you still look at things that way?
Yeah,
Or is
each quarterback is different. The college system that they come from is different. But with respect to Jared, Jared never called a play in the huddle. Those
Right.
plays came from the sideline on cards. Jared didn't line up and identify the mic. The O-line did it. So all Jared did was look at the play and can take the snap and go do it. And so, that's not how we do things at this level. Okay. We're not sending plays in on cards and things like that. We're expecting the quarterback to make some decisions. So what do? You don't play him right away. I didn't put,
Right.
I didn't play. That was my last year there, but
Yeah.
I didn't play Jared until, towards week 10, whatever
Yeah.
it was. He got a little bit of experience here and some experience there. But the one thing that I did, and not
who'd you have with him? Who was the veteran that you had?
Case Keenum.
Case
I
Keenum.
had
Yeah,
Case,
that's
and
right.
Case was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we started off 3-1 or something like that, and then we had problems defensively, got people hurt, and then lost a couple close games, and then they fired my ass. So
Look, we blame Coach Mack for that.
yeah, Coach Mack, are you listening? But my thing with Jared was just bring him along slow and make sure he sees everything. And I'll shift over to Sam Darnold. Okay, he's drafted in the Jet in their program there. Well, who's the defensive coordinator when he was drafted? He's a good friend. He coached for me for a long time. His name was Greg Williams. Okay, Greg Williams
knows a thing or two.
Yeah, he knows a thing or two. Okay, but the head coach at the time he didn't have control over the direction he wanted to go and the development of his quarterback. Because do you remember Sam Darnold saying, "I'm seeing ghosts"?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
He said that?
Yep.
Okay. Well, Greg comes out of the New Orleans program where Greg's got thrown his whole defensive playbook at no one other than Drew Brees.
Right.
And they're competing, and Drew and Greg are competing, and they're trying to outsmart each other and stuff like that. And it's a fun deal and everything. Well, Sam Darnold's not Drew Brees his rookie year. And so the point is that when I was in St. Louis and I had Greg on my staff, it's okay. Your responsibility is to know when Jared Goff is in the huddle. Okay, when he's in the huddle, you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 different things. That's it. We have to develop him. I don't want you to go in there and trick, whatever him and confuse him and come in off of one side and trap the other side and all this kind of stuff. He's in a progression. He's working his way through, the nuances of defense. But you got to start someplace and go. That's how we handled Jared there. Greg, from what I'm told, and again, I'll tell this to Greg, we're good friends and all that stuff, but I think that's part of Darnold's problem early on in his career. He just didn't get settled. And,
right.
And people, and for a quarterback standpoint, guys will go one place and struggle a bit, and then all of a sudden go someplace else and light it up like Sam did. And they need time. So, we're talking about Will right now. He's in his he's in his third offense.
Year. Yeah, right.
Come on, he hadn't figured out a way to have fun.
Yeah, no,
that's right.
No, I mean, because last year he barely had a line in front of him. He got beat up. He got hurt. So I certainly get that. We'll have more with Coach Fisher coming up next here on Chasing Big Joe 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game on this Thursday, continuing our hour with Coach Jeff Fisher, AF1 and the Nashville Cats, but talking some ball with him, Joe.
All right, so when you got the number 1 pick from the Titans in 2016 with the Rams, did you call them and say, hey, what we got? What are we going to do here? How did that all go down?
Yeah, there's some conversation. I mean, there's some conversation around the league. And, Les and Kevin reached out to John and they started the conversation, and just kind of one thing led to another. Yeah. I mean, we did the reverse of that with Mike Shanahan in the RG3 trade. We dropped down. When Mike was at Washington, he was ahead of his time. He felt like this guy brings a different dynamic to the game right now, and the game's not prepared for the mobile quarterback. The defenses don't have enough players to defend it. And so Mike wanted to go get Robert. And so we traded with him, and we picked up 1s and 2s, and that's a Michael Brockers. And then, and Janoris Jenkins. And as a matter of fact, when we went to Washington 2 or 3 years later, I introduced on the field as captains for the coin toss. Everybody was on the active roster that we had gotten from Washington. And it was the only one that realized it, saw it, that thought it was a really great, little gesture was Daniel Snyder. But we built a big part of the Rams team with the RG3 trade.
Oh, so you think right now the Titans number 1, there are teams calling them every day saying, hey, what do you got? How did that work for you guys when you were dealing with that? We were like, teams calling you? I guess I'm thinking, what do you got? What do you got for me? Well, how can you help me out? And then is that how the back and forth goes?
Yeah. I mean, number one, everybody knows the history and the values. And if you're going to go from 1 to 2 or 1 to 6 or 1 to 12 or 13, what the compensation should be. So that's kind of where the conversation starts. Well, it starts at, hey, would you have any interest in moving out? Well, I mean, that's happened every year. Anybody that's sitting at number 1 that says no should be fired. Love it. So, I mean, that's the way it is. There's a lot of stuff that goes on, even on draft day. I mean, there's some stuff, we can talk about some stories, but, I remember we got a call. I mean, it was our first draft. It was Floyd and I, and, we got, it's expansion. It's Jacksonville, Carolina, or Carolina, Jacksonville, one way or the other. And then us. And we got buds playing in New York, and we're going to go pick up Steve. And then Jacksonville calls and says, hey, I'm getting ready to trade out. This is Coughlin. It's awesome. He goes, I'm getting ready to trade out. Down below, somebody wants your quarterback. I'll switch places with you. So, yeah, he was 2. We were 3. He goes, I'll switch places with you for a 4th. And hangs up. Why we're on the clock, or they're on the clock.
Wow.
And Floyd's like, no, we can't lose our quarterback. And it was like, look, he's bluffing.
Yeah.
We know he knows who we're
trying
going
to get
take.
an extra pick.
And he wants to get an extra pick. And if he's going to get his guy anyway, whether he sits there or not. It's Baselli, and we spent 10 minutes, with a heart rate up over 200, worried about it. And no, he's bluffing. And then we finally said no. And, he takes his guy. But, that's, those are things that go on. I did that. I learned that trick, and I did that a few years after it with the Giants and got a pick. So
what do you remember? Floyd used to always tell this story, and we laugh, when you guys drafted Curse in 99, that and I'm trying to remember exactly, but I think he was on the phone with Tampa, that there might be some movement, but you guys had identified that you wanted Javon at that point. And Floyd's literally in the middle of a phone call and finds out that he doesn't have to worry about it. And he goes, I'll talk to you later.
And we got him.
Yeah, you got him.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, that was true. I mean, that was one that we really coveted. I mean, you covered every first round pick or whatever it is, but this was a difference maker, and the timing of which had a wild ass defensive line coach in Jim Washburn in his first year. And, it just was falling into place, and we needed somebody that could dictate and get to the quarterback. And Yeah, that was a fun deal.
I-
That year was amazing.
Well, all the
Javon.
mock drafts had you guys taking Andy Katzenmoyer from Ohio State, all the mock drafts, and then you guys got Javon. I'm like, this is much better because Katzenmoyer was a disaster in the National Football League.
Yeah, Javon was, oh my gosh, the stuff that he did physically is still mind-boggling.
It is true. I mean, just to see him take off to people was the Rams game in '99 was amazing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was just
False start, Fred Miller. He couldn't stop him.
Oh yeah, and then the rookie sack record too.
Yeah.
You know, remember he got out there and kind of did this, you know, and it was a record. He's putting the record on, and then he just kept going. Yeah.
Bones Fossil was with you with the Rams, now coming to the Titans as a special teams coach. When they announced that, I was like, this might be the smartest hire they've made in a long time. What is he going to bring to special teams? Because we saw how important that was when you were here.
Well, we did things in St. Louis that no one will ever do again unless coach can convince the staff that he needs to do it, because we immediately put the punter in the Pro Bowl because of our fake threats. And we immediately went out and got a punter. When we hired John, we went out and we got Zerline and got Hecker. Okay. And so we drafted one, I can't remember, and we signed the other. And Heck was a huge priority of ours because he was a high school quarterback and he could throw. I've never had a punter on my roster that couldn't throw. And what that does to
we've seen Brett Kern throw. So
oh yeah, well that's okay. But that was kind of right there at the end, kind of thing. But John is he's really, really creative. He's very thorough. He's amazing in a special teams meeting. I was in every single special teams meeting with him for 5 years or 4.5 while I was there. He really is an outstanding teacher. Players love him. He breaks the game down and simplifies the game, the coverage aspects, the protection aspects, and he is a drill person. You drill over and over and over and over again. And I always go back to Benji Olsen. Benji Olsen was one of the best guards ever to play for the Titans, and Benji did the same thing over and over and over again and played to a really high level. He never got beat inside. He anchored this, he did that, and that's kind of the concepts that you have to bring to special teams, is the drill aspects and things like that. And then he likes to have fun. His meetings are fun.
Yeah.
Everybody's laughing, everybody's joined. It's a competitive world, under Coach Fossil. He was the interim when they let me go. I talked to him every day through to the end of the season, and he was a good friend. And when I saw that things were going the way they were in Dallas, I really was hopeful that he would end up here. I've spoke with him a few times.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten together because he's real busy. But, the other side of that is last year was a difficult year for special teams. And their special teams coach, it was a really good coach. He's gonna be okay. He was just dealt a really hard hand to deal with. When you lose starters, and then now your special teams core group guys end up being starters before the season starts or even week 1, and you got backups on your punt protection team, you're gonna have some problems.
Yeah.
And they did. And so, but I'm a fan of their former special teams coach. As a player, he was my son's teammate at University of Montana.
Yeah.
So, and a very, very good special teams player. Just a hard hand that's coaching sometimes.
Yeah.
But there's nobody better out there than Fossil.
Yeah.
So look for immediate improvement in all areas.
Thanks so much for doing this. It's good to see you. We got to turn things over to D Mace. You know
That's
how he is.
okay.
He needs
Why
his
not?
time, right?
Yeah, give it all to D Mace. Yeah, I'm excited and appreciate what you guys surprised him a couple days ago.
We
didn't
did.
you?
Yeah, it was with the Tennessee Sports Hall of
Yeah,
Fame. So
yeah,
very,
that's cool.
very well deserving.
Very
and,
deserving. Yeah.
Titans Ring of Honor should be next.
Yes, I agree.
DAF1.com. Everything's there you need.
That's it. Thank
That's
you.
it.
Appreciate you guys.
Coach, good to see you.
Okay, thank you.
Coach Jeff Fisher, he's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe. That'll do it for us. DVD coming up next here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.